It is election night here in the borderland, and we are your local election headquarters. The polls are closed, and this is it. I'm Don Guevara.
And I'm Faran. Now, this is the runoff election for El Paso's mayor, along with 3 city council spots. It's also the special election for District 8, and we have team coverage for you tonight. News Channel 9's Alejandra Briones kicks it off, who is live in West El Paso at D. Margo's watch party, and Estefania Seyfert, she is at David Saucedo's party. First numbers are expected to come in any minute now.
Yeah, in the runoff for mayor between D. Margo and David Saucedo, last time around, D. Margo took just over 45% of the vote, with Saucedo taking 23%.
And Margo is a local businessman with experience as a state rep, and we again have News Channel 9's Alejandra Briones. She is live from his watch party tonight in West El Paso. Allie.
Yeah, it is a packed house here tonight as supporters for D. Margo waited for those first numbers to come in, and they actually came in just a second ago. You can see just how excited everybody is because they like what they saw for these first set of numbers. Let's let him celebrate here for a second. We'll talk to D. Margo right now about how he's feeling. Let's pull him over now. Okay, guys, let's see. So, D. Talk over here. Okay, so the first set of numbers have come in. I haven't gotten a chance to look at them, but I think
60-40, about 60-40.
60-40. So how are you feeling right now?
Well, the early vote always, typically 99 out of 100 times tracks for what the vote will be today. So it bodes very well for us, and I'm very pleased. Thank you.
Exactly what you said. I mean, in May we saw a low voter turnout. The early vote pretty much predicted what was going to happen. The same with today. I mean, I guess, is this everything that you were expecting, everything you were hoping for? Is it all been leading up to this?
Well, yeah. I mean, we were planning on a win. We were planning. Everything pointed to that, but you never know till the votes are tallied. And so having a 60-40 tally for the early vote fires us up. Yeah, we track, and this is the way we track in May. So we were right there, and I think I'm very pleased. I'm gratified. I'm honored.
You're joined here today by your family, your friends, all of your supporters. What does that mean to you tonight?
Well, I wouldn't be here if it weren't, number one, for family and all the friends and all the voters who supported me. So the bottom line is I'm appreciative of the entire city of El Paso for the opportunity to potentially be your mayor.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll check in again with you in a little bit, all right? Thank you, and congratulations on that first set of numbers. All right, guys, those numbers did come in, and we are seeing D. Margo in the lead, and we do know that those early numbers almost predict what is going to happen here at the end, but we will continue tracking the numbers as they keep coming in, and we'll update you as soon as that's available. Reporting live in West El Paso, Alejandra Briones, News Channel 9.
All right, Alejandro, thank you. Let's go ahead and get over those numbers for the race for Mayor. D. Margo with 59% of the vote to David Saucedo's 40%. D. Margo, as of now, has 10,375 votes. David Saucedo just over 6,900, so that's going to be a tough gap to try to come back from. News Channel 9's Estefania Seyfert live from his watch party in central El Paso. Steph, what's the mood like over there?
Well, actually, David Saucedo just walked in just as those numbers started to walk in. So, David, tell me what's kind of your reaction to the numbers that have been coming in right now?
Well, it is what it is. You know, we got to see what's going on for the rest of the night. Just walked in. We'll see what else happens today. We worked hard today. We called everyone. We talked to people. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight.
You mentioned you had done a lot of block walking this time around, and you felt very confident that you were going to get the voters who were undecided. How are you feeling about that now?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think early voting was a different animal. I think we'll see what happens today. Today, it looks like there was a low turnout on the west side, it seems like. There was a high turnout in other areas. But ultimately, the vote's still low. 17,000 to vote in early is pretty low. We'll see what happens today. But we'll see. You know, we'll see if the night's early.
Looking at this first wave of early numbers, is there anything you feel you would have done differently when you were campaigning for this runoff?
I don't think I could have. I mean, we did everything that we had. We did everything we had to do to try and get our message out. And you know, I mean, I feel like we met our expectations, and I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm really happy. This was an amazing experience. But again, we'll see what else happened today. We worked very hard today, and we'll see what the numbers show.
All right, thank you so much, David. And I'm going to go ahead and send this back to you at the studio, Don and Faran.
All right, Estefania, thank you. Well, let's go to the race for District 2 City Rep, which covers central part of El Paso. Now, out of the original 6 candidates, it's all come down to incumbent Jim Tolbert and challenger Alessandra Anello. Now, our early numbers coming in. Right now, we have Jim Tolbert, who is at 38.29% of the vote, 615 votes there. Alessandra Anello is coming in at 61.71% of the votes, 991 votes there. So News Channel 9's Patrick Hayes is in our newsroom now with a closer look at these 2 candidates. Patrick.
Numbers have just come in, and right now we're waiting for the final numbers to come in. We just got the numbers, and Alexandra Anello is leading Jim Tolbert 61% to 38%. Newcomer Alexandra Anello and incumbent Jim Tolbert are squaring off in a battle for District 2. As you may recall, in May, Anello beat Tolbert by just 97 votes, but neither got enough votes needed to secure the seat.
I think the numbers show that the residents of District 2 are really disappointed in their representation and would like to see a change, and I would like to be that change. I would like to work to bring dignity and integrity back to District 2.
Even if it's anti-incumbent, and even if my opponent through a very dirty mudslinging campaign, for us to be just 2% behind, I think that says something about us.
Tolbert says Anello lacks experience, but she says he lacks transparency.
Mr. Tolbert is under investigation, and that's not the kind of leadership we need.
As News Channel 9 previously reported, Tolbert did not want to talk to me about his flyer, the one that tells potential voters he's not under investigation. However, officials with the district attorney's office and the Texas Rangers tell me he is being investigated for allegedly violating the state's Open Meetings Act. Regardless of the investigation and coming in second during the general election, Tolbert seems confident about retaining his seat.
And we're going to make that. We're going to make that change, and we're going to make that difference come the runoff.
Again, Anello is leading Tolbert 62% to 38%. Reporting in the newsroom, Patrick Hayes, News Channel 9.
All right, Patrick, thank you. Now to the District 3 race. This is a seat that was left vacant by Rep. Emma Acosta in order for her to run for mayor. The candidates in this runoff are Jaime Barcelo and Cassandra Hernandez Brown. This district belongs to portions of central and south central El Paso. Let's go ahead and get to those numbers right now. As it stands, Cassandra Hernandez leads with 59% to Jaime Barcelo's 40%. She has just over 1,400 votes. He has 977. To District 4 now, this covers Northeast El Paso. Its current rep, Carl Robinson, he has termed out. The candidates vying for this seat are Shane Haggerty and Sam Morgan. Now, the last time around, Sam Morgan took 41% of the vote. Haggerty had 36%. Let's go ahead and see what those numbers are right now. Sam Morgan is leading this race 54 to 45. Sam Morgan has 1,586 early votes to Shane Haggerty's 1,319. News Channel 9's Course Nylander has more on this race. Course.
Well, Don, we're here at the Shane Haggerty watch party at the State Farm on McCombs, and as you mentioned, he is pulling behind at this point in the early voting results, but the feeling here is remaining optimistic. I'm here with Shane Haggerty right now, so you've seen the numbers. You're just looking at the numbers. They just came down. You are pulling behind again, which was the case before the runoff as well in May. First off, your thoughts right now.
Well, really what I'm thinking about is all the folks that came out and supported me. I had a fantastic support team. My whole team worked very hard. I'm very proud of the effort that we gave, and it's not done yet. We did great. We got out there, we got the word out, and then when it came time, last time for the election day results, we did pick up some numbers. So I'm still staying positive. I'm still looking to see this through to the end.
And so back in May, when you didn't pull to the top right then and there, what did you try and do differently to try and pull ahead today?
We got the endorsement from the other two candidates. From Diane Ramos, she gave a fantastic letter. We hit on more doors, we did mailers, we did everything by the book, and then some. We worked 110%. I can't be more proud of all the guys that worked with me.
I'm wrapping up here, looking at the early results now. What do you feel it resonated, or do you feel do you feel you're going to pull ahead, or do you feel this is the end of the line?
I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. There's a lot of people out there voting today, so we just need to wait and see what the numbers show.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to be following this race closely. We'll also hear from Sam Morgan later on Facebook Live. We're live here in Northeast El Paso. Course Islander, News Channel 9.
All right, course, now to the race for District 8, this special election. This is a seat left vacant by Courtney Nyland, who resigned back in April. This district covers a big chunk of West El Paso, downtown, and even parts of South Central El Paso. 5 people vying for that seat. This is the first time that voters get to pick who they want to take over Nyland's seat. Right now, Robert Cormel is leading. He's got over 46% of the vote to Sissy Las Agaras. 21%. He's got 1,041 votes. She only has 482, so a big gap as these early voting numbers have come. And with that, let's welcome our political analyst, Dr. Richard Pineda.
Dr. Pineda is the director of the Sam Donaldson Center for Communication Studies at UTEP. He's also our go-to political analyst for every election that we've had so far this year. Thanks so much again for joining us all night tonight. So as far as these early numbers that are coming in, how much of a change do you think we're going to see in a lot of the numbers that we're seeing right now?
So my guess is that we're going to see a very minimal shift once the next set of today's numbers roll in. And the numbers that we've seen in general for this election have been pretty low. So I can't imagine that today we're going to see a substantial shift. I would say probably 1% or 2%. We might see some shifts in 8, and that'll have some rollover to the mayoral race. But I would say in general, these numbers are probably not going to shift too much tonight.
And let's just start breaking down race for race. We're going to start in the race for mayor. We have DeMargo, just like he did in May, with a very big lead to Salcedo. I mean, the Salcedo camp ran out of money. As we reported, DeMargo had a lot of money for this runoff election. This looks like it's over.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that Mr. Margo is going to become the mayor of El Paso. I mean, I think the thing that's sobering for both the mayor and I think the city in general is this election was decided with 16,000 votes total. So that means that people are not necessarily engaged. I think that's the takeaway from these numbers. And I also think that if you're looking at somebody who's reflecting tonight, I'm curious if current Mayor Oscar Leeser isn't kicking himself for not staying and making a run at this particular office again.
And these numbers that we're looking at, these are the early voting numbers, and they're just under 18,000 people voted, 17,921. That is 5% of the registered voters, but that is still a big chunk and a good determination of what's likely to happen.
And what's very interesting is, you have that 17,921 people that voted, but when you actually add up the total of DeMargo and David Salcedo, it looks like there might have been a smidget of that undervote where everyone went in to vote for District 8, but maybe not for mayor.
Right. Well, what you're looking at in that particular race, an undervote, I think of around 800 votes. That's telling to a certain extent. As you know from our last time together, the county Democrats were pushing a narrative to try to get people to undervote. Both candidates in the mind of the county chair were not representative of votes in El Paso. I think that effort was anemic based on the number of undervotes that we have. And I also think that there probably was not a lot of effort played into making that a set strategy as opposed to just having some talking points.
Let's go to District 2 and talk about the ethics investigation, which was kind of the wrecking ball for a lot of political careers. This is Jim Tolbert's seat. He got that seat after the person who had it before was removed because of an ethics violation, and it's looking like he's going to lose to Anello.
Right. Yeah, there's about a 300 vote difference at this point. My guess is that you will get a little bit of a change in that district, but it's not going to, I doubt that it's radically going to shift. I mean, we're talking about a few precincts in that area. So I think that this is definitely a cautionary tale for candidates that are willing to challenge the system on ethical complaints. It means that you will be held to a much higher standard when it comes to ethical charges. And again, it isn't just this particular incident. Representative Tolbert was publicly shamed for his email exchange with the manager of the new steakhouse in town for not being invited to a free meal. He was also on the dais rather upset with a voter and called him out by name. So I think that those things build up. I think that this is a very small universe. I mean, once you look at the geography of District 2, which means that it doesn't take very much to really have an effective strategy. It seems like Anello was able to execute that from the general election till today.
Now moving on to District 3, we have Jaime Barcelo, Cassandra Hernandez. She is at 59%, he is at 40%. He, at the very end of this race, kind of put out the flyer about Hernandez's charge that she had when she was 17 years old. A lot of mudslinging in this one at
Which
the very end of it.
Which she already told voters about from the beginning.
Yeah, because he actually got it from her website, as he told News Channel 9. But it looks like maybe the mudslinging didn't work out this time.
Yeah, I think that there's a real backlash to negative campaigning. I think that one thing that voters are looking for is some honesty and I think a higher standard when it comes to the claims being made. I think voters will accept claims of scandal or illegality if they're honest. But as you all know, I think you covered this story very well. The mailer and the copy of the police report had been redacted by the Barcelona campaign so that the dates of the actual arrest were not there. When questioned on air, again, I believe by you all, he said, I didn't put any additional information that wasn't necessary. But the truth is that's a disingenuous answer, and I think that voters in that district are probably, dealing with that in the way that they voted.
It came off as sneaky, and I think voters recognize that. The last two races before we wrap, of course, District 4, that's going to be a very close race, so we're going to have to wait to see at 8 o'clock to see if these numbers change. And then, of course, the first time we're voting for Courtney Nyland's seat, and it's Robert Cormel.
Now, with District 4, you have Shane Haggerty, Sam Morgan. Sam Morgan ran for this position before and only lost by a couple points to Carl Robinson's seat. Right. And you also have Shane Haggerty, who we said last time has had a very big political family. So I guess do you see any shift here?
I don't think that there's going to be a big point shift. I mean, again, we'll see some number differences, but remember that day of voting is not zero sum, so you don't see just a rise in one candidate. You're going to see people voting again for both candidates. I think coming into today's voting with an early vote total like this, I think it's going to be hard for Morgan to lose. I mean, we'll see what the next wave of numbers look like, but I think things are looking much clearer for Morgan at this point.
And the biggest question, I think, too, we have Sissy Lizarraga, Robert Cormel. Those were the two biggest signs that you saw in District 8, having most of us living in District 8 right now. Do you think this is going to end up going into a runoff?
Yeah, I think that there's a very likely chance. I mean, 4 points to get to 50% plus 1. I don't see that jump is going to happen. But, I mean, we'll see what those early numbers are. The challenge, if it in fact is Lizarraga for the runoff, is she's down by, right now, 600 votes. It's hard in a narrow universe like that to make that kind of an impact. So if, in fact, they're already starting to plan in her war room for a runoff, the conversation is going to be about what changes they need to make in the strategy and how they can counter the sign, resource, money advantage that Cormel brought into this particular race.
All right, Dr. Pineda, thanks so much.
Of course.
And again, these are the early numbers that we are discussing right now. We are going to still be monitoring all these numbers as they keep coming in throughout the evening for you.
Yeah, we'll have coverage at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then we'll be on the air at 10 o'clock. So we'll have more numbers, more political analysis on our Facebook page, KTSM El Paso Proud. We'll see you at 8 o'clock, folks.
See you then.